Welcome back to the vlog, and welcome here to Hoskins, Western New Britain, Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. We're heading out to Lele today to drop off 880 kgs worth of cargo today. So let's get started. It's just a half hour. My whole day schedule has just changed about a half hour ago, and I'll share with you guys how crazy it is and how many decisions you have to make as a bush pilot here in Papua New Guinea. So let's get started. Igniter's on, fuel pump on, my fuel's on and low start. Bring our NG up to 14%. Introduce my fuel.
TAWS system test, okay.
Watch the ITT coming up. Make sure my NG is coming up over 30%. Make sure my oil pressure's in the green by now. And once it peaks out, starts coming down, that's the end of the start. Generator on, prop forward or V2 on. We'll throw an alternator on once our amps drop off. And the same goes with our auxiliary bus. I've got 820 pounds of fuel. Already got it in here, so I've got minus 102 on equipment. That is basically, I have all my seats off. I've got 880 kgs of cargo, 820 pounds of fuel, and so my number I put in down here is 1720 or 1715, but you can't do that, so 1720. Some of you guys have said, oh, is it super confusing going from kgs to pounds and stuff? No, it's not, and the reason why it's not is because they're just numbers, and then this converts everything. So if I have this number, I put it in here. I don't care if it's kgs or pounds. I don't care if I fuel up with pounds or kgs. Whatever I put in here, it converts it everything, and then it's just a number that I put in here. So you can't really get confused. As long as I'm here 7199, I'm at 7,200 pounds here for my aircraft weight, so I know that I've got it in correct. I'll rotate at 63 and land at 75 knots. We are going out there at 7,000 feet today. I'll help cool off the cockpit quickly. Yeah, we're the blue dot here out here in West New Britain today. And we are flying up, let's see, flying right out here somewhere, close to those two volcanoes, right there and there. All stations, Hoskins 127.1, Kodiak November Tango Zulu, taxiing Hoskins, Lele, outbound track 070. Moresby 8861, November Tango Zulu, taxi.
November Tango Zulu, Moresby, good morning, Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, morning, want to talk, November Tango Zulu, taxiing Hoskins, Lele, 1 POB.
November Tango Zulu, no reported traffic.
November Tango Zulu. Number one change to my plan today. I just got a text here, that little chime you heard just a second ago. It says, plan to land at Biala. Lele is wet, soft, and not fully cut. Okay, so now I need to tell them that I'm actually going to Biala here after I actually take off. So that's number one change, and I've got lots more, so we'll get into those in just a minute. Mission condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses, 30 degrees, so 1540 for 1590. Checklist complete. Work is set. Airspeed's alive. There's 50 continuing. There's 63 and rotate. Got some birds ahead of me. Hey, under me. Whew, that was close. That was really close. Lucky day for him. I'm just keeping it right around 7.5 degrees. That'll give me my 85 knots that I'm looking for in case I did have an engine failure. I'm looking for 85 knots because with 20 degrees of flaps, that's going to give me my best glide. I'm below that at 73 at my best angle climbing out. If I have an engine failure at 20 degrees, I'm basically just going to fall out of the sky. So that's why I keep it at 85. We were going out to Lele. I was going to go up to 7,000 feet. But now, because I'm just going to Biala, which is, I'll show you in just a minute, it's probably like 10 minutes closer. So that also means that I have to sit on the ground now, potentially for an hour and a half, while we do helicopter shuttles into Lele, because Lele's airstrip is not adequate for me to land. They haven't finished cutting the grass. It's muddy, it's soft. We have a helicopter out there right now, and he just checked on it just this morning and let me know. So I'm going to Biala, sitting here on the ground, which will potentially change my day. But another thing that has changed my day was the fact that I am now going to be going back to Gasmata. I was just there yesterday, filmed a video going into Gasmata. So we didn't have enough seats on board to pick up a pregnant lady, and her dad was pretty distraught. So we're going back there today. We were able to work out some details to be able to fly back into Gasmata today to be able to pick up her exclusively. So that's great and dandy, but then something else went on up in Kavieng. Some of our missionaries have to get out of Kavieng and head to Goroka on an emergency. So now I have to go up to Kavieng today, even though I was just going to go straight. I was going to do out to Lele back and then back home to Goroka today. So let me show you. But it also gets even more complicating. So then you have to deal with weather. So getting up to Kavieng in the morning, it's pretty rainy, cloudy, stormy all the way up to Kavieng. It's just like one big black line as far as I can see, but it's supposed to clear out. So I should be able to do that a little bit later here in the morning when it does all this kind of rain and storms kind of dissipate and clear up. So that will be nice. But by the time I get back from that, then this whole island is expected to kind of blow up with storms, and I have to be able to get to the other side and back, and I have to stay VFR for that specific flight because I have to stay VFR blah 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 with commercial passengers. It's just PNG's rules. So I probably won't be able to do the Gasmata this afternoon, which puts me into the afternoon, so I could say, okay, just forget that flight, maybe we can do that some other time, or ask somebody else to do it. I can just head on to Goroka. But I'll show you on I'll pop this up here, but basically I'd be getting back into Goroka probably around 4, and there's just big old storms and stuff predicted to be there in the afternoon, so that puts me back into tomorrow. So anyways, yeah, this is the kind of decision making you have to make on the fly all the time, and that's why I brought an extra change of clothes for my overnight. I spent the night here last night, and I'll spend the night again tonight, and then do the Gasmata tomorrow, pick up the pregnant lady, head back, and then jet on back to Goroka and be done for the day. So yeah, lots of different decisions that you wouldn't necessarily think you'd have to make as a bush pilot, but yeah, that is a day in my life, that's for sure. Always changing. Where's the 8861 November Tango Zulu departure? November Tango Zulu departed Hoskins, time 30 to amended destination Biala. Estimating Biala time 47, and will be below 5,000.
Zulu, confirm Biala estimate 47.
Affirmative, Biala 47, November Tango Zulu.
Zulu, code below 5,000, LQH 1007.
1007, November Tango Zulu. So I'm just flying along the coast here just because I don't have my life vest on board with me. I don't have my raft, and it would normally just take me right across the bay, but I'd be probably 7 miles out over open water. So I am heading here to Biala, right here, where I was going to be heading up to Lele, which is right about up in there. Typically, I would just fly straight across the bay, but again, that puts me at some points, yeah, about 7 miles out over the water. So it's definitely outside of my gliding distance. Well, actually, we were supposed to get like 1.5 miles per 1,000 feet. I think 1.5 miles per 1,000 feet, I think, is what they say this plane can do, but I am 100% full up, so yeah, I don't think I'd get that today. And I don't know if you guys can see out here, but yeah, it definitely, we've got storms that are built up to probably 30,000 foot already this morning, and just looking at it, it's just this big dark line of rain all the way as far as I could possibly see. But like I said, that should be clearing out here this morning. So right now there are storms that go basically about in this area, and I'm heading to Kavieng, which is way up here. So I mean, I could go along the coast and then head up that way, and I might do that depending on what it's looking like once I look at the actual satellite picture, because I don't know, but basically all of this should be clearing out by I think around 10 a.m. and that's probably about the time I'll be coming back, and there should be a nice corridor right there for me to jet on up to Kavieng and back. I got a little bit of sprinkles this morning. It looks like it's going to be sprinkling out there in Biala as well. That's kind of what I was expecting, just looking at the weather forecast. It was just showing basically everything was blue over top of all this, which usually just means clouds, kind of a stable environment, kind of sprinkles, things like that. Really nice IFR flying, like really great IFR flying, super fun. Last week I had almost 2 hours of it. Really, really enjoyed it. Shot some approaches, absolutely loved it. That kind of crap, I don't enjoy IFR flying because it just throws you around in this tiny little airplane. All stations Biala 127.1, Kodiak November Tango Zulu 10 miles to the south below 5,000, estimating Biala 48. We're almost there, just another 4 minutes. Let's check our brakes, our selectors, our TAWS is already turned off, our VREF probably about the same. Yeah, it's 7,100, so we'll just do, 75 knots. That will work out well. Our lights and inlet, we could throw our landing light on and our inlet bypass because we do have a helicopter coming in probably really close at the same time. We need to go around. It's just a flat, straight runway right on the beach. So just power up 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73 knots. Maneuvers required, reset our IT 740. Prop and harness we'll do here just in a second. Let's throw my autopilot back on and fly on down the coast over to Biala. Prop and harness to go. We'll do that now. We're 4 miles from it. Moresby 8861 November Tango Zulu in the circuit Biala. Cancel SAR. Copies here in the hotel.
Tango Zulu, Biala South 78, and your intentions are please?
I'll be returning to Hoskins in probably about an hour or so. We've got some shuttles to do.
Tango Zulu.
Prop and harness. Let's throw our prop in and head flying right over top. Looks like we've got 1 knot of wind coming down off of the island, off the mountain, so we'll just fly around and then shoot the approach right over the coastline just because it's way prettier than coming in the other way. Prop and harness is done. Autopilot's off, directly in front of me. All station Biala November Tango Zulu will be flying overhead to land on runway 11. All station Biala. Reduce our torque on down, 10 degrees of flaps. We'll fly directly overhead. That'll give me a chance just to check the condition of the airstrip. This one is really, really nice usually. It's just kind of coral and grass. Looks like it was a little bit wet, but not terrible. Beam the numbers, 20 degrees of flaps. We'll lose 300 feet from here. Go on 95 knots on downwind, 85 knots on base, and 75 knots on final. There's 95 knots. So I'm just pitching for my airspeed now, power for my altitude. So I want to go down, pull some power. Want to speed up, pull up, or push down. 1.2 nautical miles. Usually at 1.6 works out pretty good for turning my base. So I'm going to just add a little bit of power to hold my altitude right at 700. There's 1.6. Turn our base. Reduce my power. Also pitch up just a tiny bit to help slow down to 85 knots. Full flaps, checklist is complete. Base was a little close, so I'm turning just a tiny bit high now. And slowing to 75 knots. We want 550 knots, or 550 feet on our descent. That's going to give me the best descent profile. A little shallow, looks like.
500.
Looks like high tide as well. There's 75 knots. There's 500 feet on the descent. That's looking a lot better. There's 550. That's kind of the approach that I'm looking for. Looks like they've cut it recently. And we are continuing. Looks like there's a dog on the runway. Thing he didn't run towards me. Yeah, this looks really nice. It did look like they cut it recently though. So, the helicopter is going to be coming in, probably landing here, so I'm going to park this way so we can just walk all of the cargo out super easy right over to the helicopter. Thank you guys for taking the time to join me. I am going to do the return flight back over to Hoskins. Hopefully the weather is going to be really nice when I get back there as well, but it does look like the rain is potentially moving towards this way. Well, we will see. So anyways, thanks for hearing all of my struggles today with all of my schedule changes, but that's pretty normal, I think. So anyways, subscribe if you aren't already. I put out videos a couple times a week. Give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, check out my website for a couple things I'm selling, sunglasses, and a lot of merch if you guys want to help out the channel. So anyways, you guys have a great day. See you next time.